What's going on, everybody? I'd like to welcome all of you to the very first edition of Pop Culture Plug, where we discuss music, movies, sports, and more. And for this first episode, I wanted to discuss a more broad topic, and that is the things that Millennials and Gen X miss the most. If you're of either of these generations, then you know as well as I that the world is a very different place than it was when we were growing up. So I wanted to tackle some of that. Let's get right into it. The first thing that Millennials and Gen X miss is experience over convenience. Now, what do I mean by that? What that means is there were more obstacles in life before, and while everything is much more convenient and accessible and at our fingertips anytime we want it, it's taken some of the magic away from the experiences that we used to have. Things like physical media, going to a blockbuster, renting movies. Now everything's streaming. Even a little later on, you had Redbox. Things like going to a GameStop the night that a game released and waiting in line for it, whatever your thing was. Mortal Kombat, Madden, Call of Duty. It started with me and my mom. Later on, towards the tail end of it, 2013, 2014, you go with the homies and you wait for the COD, and you get the bumper sticker, Eat, Sleep, Prestige. And I know what you're thinking, like, homie, you miss waiting in lines? Like, what the fuck are you talking about? But there's more to it than that. It was deeper than that. It was a visceral experience. Sometimes you would have to stand outside in the cold and it would be raining. And while that doesn't sound enjoyable, when you finally got the game home, you felt like that was a mission in and of itself and you felt accomplished. Now, we sit on our fat asses, throw a frozen pizza in the oven, and wait for the game to download with the click of a button. Things like going into a store and flipping through the tapes or the CDs. And while I know you can still do all this, it's just not common practice anymore to the level that it was. You'd find the CD and they'd have the booklet inside and all the credits, and you'd have to struggle to get that case open with that thick bullshit tape they'd have on there, and sometimes you'd just rip it open and you'd fuck your whole CD case up. But there was something about it. I could hold it in my hand, I felt it. I felt a connection to it. I felt a connection to the artist. Things like Rap City The Basement, 106 in Park, URL. I remember being 10 years old and Real Slim Shady was #1 on TRL the entire summer. And I came home and watched it every single day. I watched Rap City The Basement after school every single day. And when you had a favorite song, outside of some of us who were a little ahead with LimeWire and things like that, I know y'all might not know about that, the younger crowd or the older crowd, but you had to hear the song on the radio. You had to buy the album. Sometimes I'd buy an album just for one song. You had to sit and wait for the music video to come on, and there was something more special about it. Now, you can sit and play a song 1,000 times a day if you want. And where I can see why people would like that as well, I'm certainly guilty of it. Music doesn't have the same staying power that it once did. It's not as special anymore. Appointment TV is not really a thing anymore outside of sports. That's about the only TV I watch these days. And now we also have things like Instacart, Grubhub, Uber Eats, DoorDash. The idea of someone else shopping for your groceries would have been mind-boggling in 2005. But now that is the only way that my mother shops. You could order things like pizza and Chinese food always, but now it's all up for grabs. If you want to order a burrito bowl from Chipotle, a Dairy Queen Blizzard, a box of condoms, and a bag of dog food, you can get that. So the overwhelming theme of this particular part is, I myself have fallen into these traps of convenience and find myself missing some of the nostalgia of the experience that we have lost. I don't want to spend too much time on each topic because I don't want an hour-long video for our first piece. So let me know if you agree on that. But moving forward, another thing that Millennials and Gen X miss is creativity. What I mean by that is, You would regularly in the past find movies, shows, video games, art, clothing, whatever that had never been seen before, vehicles. We now live in a copycat culture and a legacy nostalgia culture. Back in the day, I feel like you would see something work and you go, oh, wow, that's inspiring. I want to do something that can compete with that is my own. Now we see something and go, wow, that's really good. I bet I could do a version of that and make money off of it. We either do that or we rehash the same ideas over and over and over and over because it's safe and we know that it works. How many fucking Jurassic Parks do we need? I don't need to see Fast and the Furious 17. I would love to have been in the meeting for the Ghostbusters when they said, guys, hear me out. I got an idea. It's Ghostbusters, but instead of funny, talented, comedic male actors, we're going to do a bunch of fat bitches in it. Then we go over to my field of expertise, music, and they go, oh, country? That's the thing now? So now Post Malone is a country singer, Beyonce is a country singer, and they probably, the people that have been doing this their whole lives, probably feel a little odd about that. Like, you guys didn't care about us at all before. But see, people are switching genres because rap is horrible now, and we'll touch on that later. But have you noticed, particularly in rap, every song sounds the same now? You know, there used to be a Busta Rhymes, a Missy Elliott, a Nelly, a Eminem, a Lil Wayne, a Juvenile, a Cassidy, a Joel Santana, a Fabulous, Lloyd Banks, 50 Cent, Snoop Dogg, all unique entities unto themselves. Now, particularly with the younger generation, it's a lot of out-of-key singing about traversing the struggles of the inner city, and it's repetitive and boring and mundane. And the music from the kids younger than that, I don't even know how to comment on it, to be frank. Let's look at vehicles even. I remember you could tell what a car was just by looking at it. Oh, that's a Jaguar, that's a Saturn, that's a Lamborghini, that's an Audi. Now, particularly with the SUV type vehicles, if I don't see the emblem, I don't know if it's a Chevy or a goddamn clown car. We've thrown away innovation and creativity and being unique in favor for seeing something that works and copying, pasting it, and making a poor man's version of it. So you guys let me know, do you miss the good old days of creativity and innovation, or are you all geared up to see Rambo 37? Let me know. Now, moving forward, another thing that we miss is things being genuine. Now, back in the day, say you wanted to help tornado victims or fire victims or homeless people or orphan kids, whatever the case may be. Pre-social media, you just did it out of the kindness of your heart, and you maybe had some people help you, but it was an act of care and love. Now it is widely used as a tool of, look at me, look how good of a person I am. And it's usually people that are trying to sell something. They're musicians or business people of some sort. The whole thing that made me want to do this video today was the idea of dating apps and what they've become. I met someone and even ended up getting that person pregnant back in the day on a dating app. You know, you would meet the girls, you would hit it off, boom, boom, do whatever, and keep it pushing. And I would say since about 2018, while I don't frequent these apps as much anymore, when I get bored and do, guys, when I tell you I don't think I've met a girl under 28 that hasn't been a prostitute, I'm not bullshitting you. Everyone's selling pictures and videos of themselves, and everybody's a model and a vixen now. Pay to see me play with myself. This is not exclusive to race either. White girls, black girls, Latinas. I have not talked to any Asian girls, but I'm sure they're on there selling fried rice too. And I really feel bad for the younger men that is the way that these things are now. Have there always been women like that? Yeah. But it seems to be more prevalent than ever. Let me know if you guys have seen that as well. Another thing is everything is a scam. As some of you know who know me personally and from my other channel, I am a musician, have been for quite a while. And I've had several people, hey, send me this, send me that, and we'll get you going, we'll promote you, we'll do this, we'll do that, and have completely ghosted me. And I tell people, I would have spent thousands of dollars with you had you done what you said you were gonna do, but you ran off with $35. So everything's a scam. Every girl on the dating apps is trying to rob you or charge you money for a free activity. Everybody's a good person on social media. Some of the shittiest people I know play make-believe, good guy and girl all day long on social media. And that's all that people care about. So the truth doesn't seem to be valued anymore. Being genuine doesn't seem to be valued. It's about clicks, it's about likes, it's about money, it's about status, it's about how cool you are, how good you look. We've made it cool to be a whore, we made it cool to do drugs, so I don't know. Being genuine has gone out the window. Now, moving forward, I think you'll notice a trend. We started with some of the lighter topics, and now we're going to get into more heavy subject matter. Something that Millennials and Gen X dearly miss is race and sexual preference not being a part of every conversation. We say things today like, this country is the most divided it's been since Jim Crow and the 60s. And my simple retort to that is, do you see segregated lunch counters and bathrooms and drinking fountains? If you think we're divided by race, get on an adult tube site and look up the term blacked, okay? It's white girls having a lot of fun with some black gentlemen, sometimes several at a time. So she's being divided by race, all right, but not the way we're talking about. Hip-hop culture and urban culture largely became culture in a lot of places where it was never even a thing. If you think some of the rap music that comes out today, or a website like Blacked, or the way suburban kids act in a culture that they have no real roots in would have been tolerated pre-1980s, you're out of your mind. This whole racial division narrative started with Trayvon Martin. That was 2011, I believe. And then you see things like George Floyd and Michael Brown. What never gets talked about is any other race of people that are harmed by the police. They're usually local stories that don't get picked up and sensationalized by the media. And unfortunately, a lot of people need to be told what they think, what they're outraged by, what type of music they like. What's the new thing we're mad about today. And the news is what gives people that, because they have no direction of their own. Now, moving on to the next part of this is, over the past 10, 15 years, particularly the last 5 to 10, I'd say, I've noticed this absolute fascination with sexual orientation that's going on. I want to preface this by saying I in no way have a problem with anybody being gay, bi, poly, whatever term you want to attach to it. I don't have a problem with anybody that's trans. It's all good. Do what you want. I'm all for acceptance, but we seem to have skipped past acceptance and moved to celebrating these things. It's become in vogue to be gay. It's become cool to be transgender. And I notice a lot of times in this era of everyone thinking that they're a star and that they're special, a lot of people have no actual skills or talent or personality. So being gay or being trans becomes their identity, and they wear it as this badge of attention. So I don't know what's going on. Over the past 10 or 15 years, it's become popular to think that everyone of dark skin is a victim and cannot achieve at the same level of people of a lighter pigment who have been born with a silver spoon in their mouth. Everybody should celebrate gay and trans people, and it should be thrown in everyone's face at all times. Not really the way we grew up. I think we should be open to the way others feel, but this one shoe fits all narrative is nonsensical. Now, moving on to the last piece of this, another thing that we miss is culture moving forward. Back in the late 90s and early 2000s, everything was about pushing the envelope. It was Jerry Springer, Marilyn Manson, Eminem, South Park. Everything was, how can we push the boundaries? How can we move the idea of what is acceptable forward? And I find it odd that we've moved into a time where simultaneously you want us to celebrate gay and trans people, but you better not make a joke about it. That's now unacceptable. The policing of language and thought is presented to us as progress when really it's moving in the opposite direction. If, say, the black community, which I don't believe is a such thing, everyone that has the same pigment does not have the same experience, but let's just say it is a thing, or the LGBTQ plus community, or overweight people, or mentally disabled folks. If you guys want to truly be treated as equal, then we need to be able to have conversations about you in the same manner that we have honest conversations about everyone else. In a lot of ways, we've introduced delusion as progress. It's not healthy to tell someone that's 600 pounds that they look good in a swimsuit and put them on a magazine cover. You should encourage that person to lose weight. It's not healthy to reward the idea that being gay and trans is special. It's not healthy to encourage the idea that all black people are victims. Oh, we shouldn't celebrate the 4th of July because the Shut the fuck up. Just speaking on personal experience from people I know, what does slavery have to do with the way that you raise your kids? Let me know at any time. The bottom line of it all is life isn't fair. Not everyone's special. Not everyone's attractive. Not everyone is a star, and we're all gonna die. Get over it. There are other things that I wanted to cover, like the state of rap and how horribly down it is and just unrecognizable because the world gets a hold of things that they don't care about or understand and ruin them. But we'll have time to discuss that and a lot of other topics in the future. This is my new channel. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Gen Z, feel free to chime in. Boomers, and anyone who's older than that, feel free to chime in if you're breathing. I can only speak from my generation's perspective. These are some things that we miss. My generation, what do you miss? What kind of topic would you like to hear me cover in the next piece? Let me know where you agree with me, where you disagree. Like, comment, subscribe, share. Let's get this channel going. I'm going to build it organically. And yeah, until next time, peace.